Hi, I'm Bill Bragan, Executive Artistic Director of the Art Center at NYU Abu Dhabi, and I'm thrilled to welcome you back to the 5th annual edition of the Barzakh Festival. I want to thank the Art Center's sustaining sponsor, GAC, as well as our media partners, the National, Al Ittihad, Abu Dhabi World, Yalla Magazines, and Time Out Abu Dhabi. I also want to give a huge thank you to all the staff and crew at the Art Center who worked so hard to reinvent what we do to create an online season. This year, the Barzakh Festival celebrates a global vision of Black History Month. On Monday, we opened with Las Cantoras, in which Afro-Venezuelan singer Betsaida Machado dug into the incredible Archivo Lares and shared some of their archival gems in a documentary and conversation with Osvaldo Lares. It's still online through the end of the festival, so don't miss it. This Saturday, February 6th, will premiere Minarets, a new suite by Ghazi Al-Malefi and Boom Diwan, created in collaboration with pianist Nduduzo Makatini. In this new work, Afro-Khaliji pearl diving music meets South African jazz in a performance filmed between Abu Dhabi, Kuwait, and South Africa. To make sure you stay up to date on all of our programs, please follow at NYUAD Art Center on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and NYUAD-Art Center on the web, where you can also subscribe to our newsletter. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can find live streams and archival events. Now for tonight, we are thrilled to present the first UAE performance by Martha Redbone Roots Project. Martha and I go way back to working together for nearly 20 years in New York, and most recently at Tiny Desk Meets Global Fest. In addition to her recording career, which cuts across soul, blues, Appalachian music, and Native American traditions, she has also been making a name for herself composing for theater, including the music theater piece Bone Hill, and creating an award-winning score for the Public Theater's recent production of Ntozake Shange's For Color Girls. We are grateful to National Sawdust in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, for partnering with us and for hosting the filming of tonight's concert. We also want to thank the U.S. Mission in the UAE for their support in the Art Center's Off the Stage program and for sharing this concert with our U.S. community across the UAE. We're always connecting our visiting artists to NYU Abu Dhabi classes, even when it's a virtual residency, so I'd like to give a special shout out to NYUAD students who are watching with their classes. After tonight's show, we'll have a live chat with Martha and her musical director, pianist Aaron Whitby, moderated by the Art Center's Director of Artistic Planning, Lindsay Bostwick. If you have any questions or just some comments, please add them to the chat throughout the program, or just say hello, send some emoji love, and let us know where you're watching from. We're now very pleased to present the Martha Redbone Roots Project.
Where love that so many sweet flowers bore. Oh, la need to way down. Oh, la need to way down. And I saw it was filled with graves and tombstones where flowers should be, and priests in black gowns were walking their round, and binding with briars my joys and I went to the garden of love. I went to the garden of love. I went to the garden of Thank you. I am Martha Redbone. We are the Martha Redbone Roots Project. And that was a song called The Garden of Love, which is a beautiful poem written by the great British poet William Blake. And William Blake and I share very similar points of view, and he's such an eloquent writer, and me being from the mountains of Appalachian, him writing about the hills and valleys of Great Britain and all of the things that, all of the work that needed to be done back then when he wrote these songs, and all of the work that still needs to be done today. One of the things that he wrote about was having compassion for humankind. And he wrote this. He passed away in 1827, and he wrote so many poems about humans finding ways to love each other and to understand each other to bring about peace in the world. And here we are today in 2021, still trying to figure that out. And so this particular song coming up is called On Another Sorrow, and it's about the cry of having compassion for each other and to lend a helping hand if we see people in trouble, and also having the human conscience to say something and do something and to be a part of the change that you want to create. So it's called On Another Sorrow. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Can I see another's woe and not be in sorrow too? Can I see another's grief and not seek for kind relief? Can I see a falling tear and not feel my sorrow share? Can a father see his child weep nor be but sorrow filled? Can a mother sit and hear an infant groan, an infant feed? Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. And can he who smiles and all hear the wren of sorrow small, hear the songbirds grief and care, hear the woes that infants bear, and not sit beside the nest pouring pity in their breast, and not sit the cradle near weeping tear on infant's tears, and not sit both night and day wiping all our tears away. Oh, never can it be, never, never can it be. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Till our grief is flat and gone, he does sit by us and mourn. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Never can it be, never, never can it be. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. All righty, yes. Oh no, never can it be. Don't let us see something out there going on and we don't say anything or do anything about it. Oh no, never can it be. Our next song is also a poem by William Blake, and this particular song is called A Dream. And he uses the metaphor of a little beetle kind of finding his way around the world. And we compare it to how we are, I guess, in the cycle of life where you know, we start out innocent, and as we go through life, we're gaining all of this experience and learning so much stuff about the world, and then you get to a certain age where you feel like you've seen so much, and, you know, I guess that's probably why people decide to have kids, so that you can rediscover the world through innocent eyes. And so we get to a certain age, and it seems like we want to return to that place where we didn't have a care in the world and where we were just rediscovering things. And so that's why that poem speaks to me. And also it made me think about my ancestors and just the idea of a dream and kind of, this call to the ancestors and all the songs and how cultures can continue and oral traditions continue, and it's through our songs and our stories of the people who came before us. And so we like to present that song to you. And on our album, The Garden of Love Songs of William Blake, we have a special guest, dear friend of ours, Lonnie Harrington, who sings a Southeastern traditional stomp. And so right now, I'm going to be Lonnie, and shout out to Lonnie. And then the guys are going to be me because I'm singing the backgrounds. And so I love our Southeastern songs and our stomp dance songs because they all not only go from our Southeastern tribes, the Choctaw people, but we also mix our traditions with the call and response from our African ancestry as well. And so here is the stomp dance. So maybe what we can do is you can join the guys, and I'll do the call, okay? Here we go. Yo, yo, hey, yo. 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 Way, yo, hey, yo. Way, yo, hey, yo. Yo, 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 yo, hey, yo. Way where on grass we thought I'd lay. Trouble, wildered and forlorn, dark benighted, travel worn, over many tangled spray, all heartbroke I heard her say. Oh, my children, do they cry? Do they hear their father's sigh? Now they look abroad to see. Return Aaron Whitby on keys with the double mask. We are in New York. Marvin Sewell on guitars. Rocky Bryant on drums. I can hear you all clapping. Fred Cash Jr. on bass. Charlie Burnham on violin. Yes. This is the segue. So we're going to, I want to share with you, not only is it a gift and a blessing to be able to have this opportunity to join you all today at the Barzak Festival online, but to be able to be together in the room with our friends again in the name of music and sharing our music and my culture with you. And it's been a seriously heavy year for the entire world. And so we're so grateful to be together, not only for you, but with each other. So I'm absolutely thrilled. There's a piece that my partner in crime here, Aaron Whitby, who is not only my partner in music, but in life. He is my co-writer and co-producer of everything that I've done almost since the beginning. And so Aaron and I created a theatrical concert piece called Bone Hill. And we developed it at Joe's Pub in the Public Theater. And this is a story about the 4 generations of my family in Appalachia. And since we're meeting you for the first time, and I'm sure you're meeting me for the first time, I'm from Harlan County, Kentucky, which is in Black Mountain, which is the highest ridge on the eastern seaboard in the United States. And that's where I'm from. I'm from a coal mining family, and we call ourselves the mountain people. And we're also the original Cherokee Shawnee people from that region as well. And I was raised there by my grandparents when I was a kid, so in between New York City and the hills of Kentucky is kind of where I have that, where the urban meets the mountains. And I guess you might be able to hear a little bit of that in the music, because even though we have some traditional influences and blues, we also have the sounds of the street, which is that heavy bottom and that foot that I love to hear all the time, So I got to have the funk with me no matter what. And also the Bone Hill story, we want to share with you a couple of the songs that talk about my family and our culture. We're African American and Native American. As I said, we're the Cherokee Shawnee people from that region, and my grandpa was Choctaw, who came up to work in the coal mines as part of the Great Black Migration to the north. And there's a story about that. So we really hope that one day we'll be able to get to come to Abu Dhabi to share that story with you, because it really is a beautiful story. And not only does it talk about the story talks about our culture and how this family and these hills have held on to our culture through our stories and our songs, and how we came to be, and a little bit about the history of the land, because Appalachia was our homeland before the American Indian Forced Removal Act to the new territory, which is now known as Oklahoma. So we were displaced. There were many, many East Coast tribes who were displaced and forcibly removed to go and live in a new land that we had never seen before. And my story, my ancestors are one of the people who made it back from that long walk, which is what we call it. The Trail of Tears is something that you might be familiar with. So they call it the Trail of Tears, but we call it the Long Walk. They call it the Trail of Tears because there were so many thousands of people who died along that trail walking. And at that time, there were 3 different removal periods over a period of 70 years. And each removal period, the military came and forced us, our ancestors, to move during the winter months, knowing full well that most people will not make it to the new territory alive. And so we were also, our ancestors were not allowed to bury our dead. We had to leave them on the side of the roads while we were walking. And so that's what we call it, like the long, tragic walk. So that's the Trail of Tears. So we're going to share a song with you called 40 Wheels, which the sounds of these wheels and what they represent over the generations in my family, what those wheels mean, the sound of the wheels that kind of haunt us while we were forced to walk 900 miles. And then the other song is called Two Dead Indians, and talks about our resistance and our pain and our suffering, of course. But and still we rise, and I'm a product of that resilience. And then we also talk about returning to our spirit, what we call back home, our old ways. And that's a song called Medicine Man. And we talk about how, and this is the similarity I was talking about William Blake that we share. William Blake questioned the idea of organized religion. And indigenous people here in the States, the tribes here, we had Christianity forced onto us. And so even to this day, even though many of us have our old ways that we do, but we also, they're kind of mixed with the Christianity as well. And so, and that kind of, I guess it's kind of an oxymoron or a paradox of how we manage to keep our faith and our spirit and still also have our old ways. So those are the three songs we're going to try and segue together for you. This is a mountain holler. In our peaceful little world of Appalachia, way up high, high up on the hills above the clouds, my people dwell. How sweet the silence in the still of our hollows. We hear the calling of our Lord. Black coal, coal is running through my veins. Blood Harlem, Kentucky. thousand miners walking, 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 walking. Way ahead, way ahead, way ahead, way ahead, way ahead, way ahead. Two dead Indians high on a mountainside. Chickapin tree hang low, low, low. 'Twas my father and my mother staring at me, skin and bones. I am undone, a child is torn. I have no place to go. Heavy rain come, wash away this pain, but the stories of our lives roll on. High on our mountain, blood in the creek, red water, dead in the water, we fish so we can't eat, and the people stand around and point at me. All the people, they're talking, 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 talking. I am undone, this child is torn, I have no place to go. Heavy rain come, wash away the pain, but the stories of our lives. An old time drum beat in the back of my mind. Come gather round by the fire for the story of the medicine man. Visions of rivers and trees, highways of the deep blue seas. Come gather round by the fire, better run, child, to that medicine man. show you the way of the pipe and a run child to that medicine man asleep for your life. Oh, no falling apart if you lose your way. Yeah, got no one to blame. Don't think you're living a dream. Don't wait until it's too late. Skin talk will make you feel fine. Better run child to that medicine man. Long days and dirty red streets, long walk with the warrior feet. He lives the way of the pipe. Better run child to that medicine man. Some say he's from an old time. Drum beat in the back of my mind. Come gather round by the fire. Better run child to that medicine man. Just swallow your pride. Oh, don't crumble and fall if you lose your way. Yeah, got no one to blame. Don't think you're living a dream. Don't wait until it's too late. Skin talk will make you feel fine. Better run child to that medicine man. To the sky. You better run for your life. You can choose if you wanna be free. Don't think you're living a dream. Don't wait until it's too late. Skin talk will make you feel fine. Better run child to that medicine Better run child all your life to the medicine The medicine man. 40 wheels. So, it's a good moment to take it down, to think about the world we're living in, and it's interesting when the songs that you write, and the songs that Aaron and I have written, they're telling stories, and but they're telling stories about human life, and it's amazing how you write a song at a particular time, and then because it marks something an experience that you've gone through, and then you find yourself thinking about those words again, and then when you sing it, the time that you're living in, for some reason, it's telling that story again. Since this pandemic, we've been, as musicians, we're thinking about our livelihood. We're thinking about how we're going to feed our families. And we're also thinking about what we do for a living, making music. Our livelihood depends on people gathering together in the name of music. And what do we do when that's taken away? Well, you know what we do? We get really creative. And I'm really grateful to be able to share this music with you halfway around the world. Song Aaron and I wrote back in 9 Puffity cough. And this is a song that I've been thinking about all along. And it's a song I originally wrote for my dad. And I guess it's a prayer. I mean, most of the songs that we write tend to be prayers, you know. They're things that you're thinking about and kind of hoping would happen, and things that you wish for. You're writing wishes. Then you're writing prayers, you know, when things happen, and you're writing wishes for hope, like you hope a situation arises where your dreams can come true. And so this particular song is dedicated for today. It's dedicated to all our musicians around the world. And actually, I believe that musicians should also be considered essential workers during this pandemic, because one of the things that we're doing is healing the human spirit. You know, so doctors and nurses and musicians are healers. And one of the things that I noticed when, you know, you look at the news and you're looking at everyone, all the medical helpers saving lives and putting their own lives at risk, one of the things that I noticed when I'm watching the news and these doctors and nurses are talking when they're in the hospitals, one of the main things I noticed is that there's music in the background, and they're all filming themselves, and in between helping people survive and to stay alive, they're smiling and have music healing all different kinds, whether they're dancing, you know, or having soothing music to help someone who's ill. And so, yeah, today we're the essential workers. So I'm going to sing this song called Underdog. Some days it feels like there's a heaven up above. I never want it to end, 'cause I just can't get enough. Some days there are none, I mean nobody, no one. I got a pocket full of dust, and I'm gambling on a lone star. Well, ain't it funny how the world can get to you, but even fools get lucky sometimes. They say every cloud has got that silver lining around. Mine just needs a little dusting off. And we are the underdog, and we're the fighters. Get ready for that next round. And we are the underdog. It's never easy, but our odds, they keep on tumbling, tumbling down. Some ways it feels just like walking down the road. I don't remember where I began, and I don't know where the ending is. And some days I'll talk to strangers who can't hear me, and my money is where my mouth is. But I guess I was born away, way too soon. But hey, I can't see just what the future holds for me, that I may roll that lucky number. And there's a million others out there trying just like me. Put us all together, same drum, same beat, and we are the underdog. And we're the fighters, getting ready for that next round. And we are the underdog. It's never easy, but our odds, they keep on tumbling, tumbling, tumbling down. Get him next time. Keep on tumbling down, 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 down. The underdog. The underdog. All righty. Once again, Charlie Burnham on violin. Woo! Fred Cash on bass. Rocky Bryant, drums. Marvin Sewell, guitars. Partner in crime, music director Aaron Whitby on keys. We'd like to thank, from the bottom of our hearts, NYU, Abu Dhabi, and National Sawdust for providing this glorious, gorgeous room. Isn't it beautiful? It's like it's a dream. I feel like I'm in Star Wars and Brooklyn at the same time. And they're just wonderful people, Charles and Garth, and who gave me those beautiful young lights? And Shireen and Nicole, who's having a baby. I'm just thrilled. And I can't see the lighting person. Amy, oh my God. Thank you so much. What a beautiful room that you made for us. And we want to, before we kiss you goodnight, we want to do one more song, one more little prayer. And it's called I Heard an Angel Singing. Oh, God. Uh-oh. We forgot. I'm going to do, well, this is what the live stream is. We have 2 more songs for you. Here we go. Now I'm going to use my tambourine. All right, so there's a call and response. So we're going to see if we can do a call and response at the end of this song with the audience, okay? So I'm counting on you, and I will say repeat after me, and then you just follow the guys, and then you can sing along and do what we call back home our church claps, okay? So that will be... Okay, and back home, one of the things we do say is friends, don't let friends clap on 1 and 3, okay? So we'll keep that in mind, all right? And if you notice that, look, 1, 2, 4, 2, 4. See what I mean? That's how you know. You ready, Freddie?
Come on, come on, band.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh, before we get started, keep playing, I like that. One of the things this is a William Blake poem where he questions the idea of organized religions. Remember I said that a little bit earlier. So here we go. I rose up at the dawn of day, get thee away. Praise thou for riches, away, away. This is the throne of Mammon grave. Said I, this sure is very odd. I took it to be the throne of God. For everything besides I have, it is only for riches that I can crave. I have mental joys and mental health, and mental friends and mental wealth. I've a wife I love that loves me. I have all but riches bodily. I am in God's presence night and day, and He never turns His face away. The accuser of sins by my side does stand, and he holds my money bag in his hand. For my worldly things, God makes him pay, and he paid for more if to him I would pray. And so you may do the worst you can do. Be assured, Mr. Devil, I won't pray to you. With all riches I must not pray. God knows I little of prayer needs it. So as a church is known by its steeple, if I pray, it must be for other people. the day. All righty. Okay. All right. And now we're going to leave you with our last song, which is a hymn. The line of this poem says, I heard an angel singing. And when you read a line like that, it inspired Aaron and I to write a hymn. Thank you all again for having us at this beautiful festival, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all online next week. I heard an angel singing when the day was spring. Mercy, pity, peace is the world's release. And thus he sang all day over the new moon hill till the sun went down and haycocks looked brown. The devil curse over the heath and the furze, and mercy could be no more if there was nobody poor. And pity no more could be if all were happy as we. At his curse the sun went down and the heavens gave a frown. Down poured the heavy rain over the new reaped grain. Miseries increase for mercy, pity, peace. I heard an angel singing. There's a
Oh, there's something else.
fuzzy sound going on.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Lindsay Bostwick. I'm the Director of Artistic Planning at the Art Center at University Abu Dhabi. And I'm so thrilled to welcome Martha Redbone and Whitby for a post-singing conversation. Welcome, both of you. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, well, we have like a buzzing sound. Okay, we're back.
You heard that? It disappeared.
Yes.
Great. Well, this is liveness, right? We can have a moment that we can be live together. And wow, I'm sure that I'm not the only one who is just feeling so overwhelmed with happiness and emotion and love of that incredible concert. And it feels like we've been talking about this project for about a year or more. And so many permutations, as I'm sure all the artists out there and the programmers understand what that means to keep going through those scenarios and the plans and the ideas. And I'm just so thankful that you stuck it out with us and we had this incredible moment and this sharing with our communities across the globe. So I have a few questions. I actually have a million questions for you all. And I also am going to open it up for audience questions. So please, if you have questions, put them in the chat. They'll get over to us. But the first question I have is a little bit in the theme of our festival, which is part of a multi events over the course of the week. And on Monday, we had this really wonderful celebration looking at Afro-Venezuelan singers, female folk singers. And someone had put in the chat, and it stuck with me, this idea of the respect and the responsibility of sharing the work of our elders and our ancestors and part of these musical traditions. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that, because I've had the opportunity to hear you speak about these stories and holding those. So would love to hear a little bit about that.
Yes, first of all, thanks so much for tuning into that show, and I'm so glad that people had a really good time. I think it's more than just the idea that it's nice to share the songs or good to share the songs. I feel that it's our responsibility to carry on our culture and traditions. It's our responsibility to the people who came before us, to our parents and our grandparents that the culture comes from, and it's really important to share it not only with our descendants, but also with people in our communities and beyond, so that we don't disappear. I mean, we all know that here in the United States, the story of the Native American, of the original caretakers of this land, is all but even talked about. Most people don't even know that there are 574 tribes with all different languages and dialects and cultures. People don't know much about us because we've been erased. And what we haven't been erased by genocide, we've been erased on paper. And so, because of that erasure, and then those of us who have survived and despite this, we had everything taken away from us, and so we were stripped of our right to perform ceremonies and to sing, to speak our language, to even have our names. So everything was stripped away, and we've had to take it back and reclaim it and keep those stories in here and in our hearts. And so when you've had to do that because of the history of this country and colonization, you do everything you can to make sure that that your people are not destroyed and erased for good, because if we don't have where we come from, and we don't have these stories, there's like a hole that's missing, you know And so that's why I'm really thrilled to be a part of this particular festival that highlights that with all of the groups that perform here every year. It's vital. Culture is vital. The language preservation is vital. Our songs are vital, and the sound and the music, and it's everything that we are. I'm
Thank
really glad that Aaron here is well, he's our adopted member in our family, and he has every right to speak on these things as well. So
Yeah, and I wanted to, I love every time I hear about the two of you and the more than 20 years of making work together and that creative partnership. And I'm very curious to know, after all of this time together, do you still feel like you have a creative influence on each other, or have you kind of grown together, right? Has it become one thing, or are you constantly finding new elements and ways to influence each other's creativity?
Um,
I think
yeah, I think it carries on because we both have our own, we spend a lot of time together, clearly, but we,
especially now.
yes, but luckily we have more than one room. But yeah, we both have our own, mental kind of worlds, if you like, of our own. If you don't, I guess you might go a little crazy. And so we're both kind of having our own growth in life, as well as our growth together.
Right.
So
it's a double journey that
yeah,
has kind of traveled together, and we're fortunate that our creative team is so complementary. So it's we really do what he does really well. His arrangements and things are just genius, and the things that I add to it are really just complement it. And so that particularly works. And that, I mean, and of course, we both feel where we can, disagree on things, and then we tend to agree to disagree. And it's just something that happens when you're a team who works together, and when you work together for as long as we have. It's we just kind of know what to do. We have our rhythm that we do. And it's for all of you who are kind of spiritually guided. His birthday is this Friday, February 5th, and mine is February 6th. Right? So if that has something to do with it for all of you who believe in the cosmos and the stars, that also we're bookends in that way that complement each other.
And Aaron, when we were kind of in the final stages of arranging and looking at the plans of making this work, one thing that stuck out with me was when we said, okay, we're going to have you film the concert, in another venue. And you really said, but it's not a concert. We have to separate this. This is not a concert. There is nothing of the phenomenon. It's not a live event. And I thought that was really an incredible way to kind of just stop. And so let's define it, right? We're creating this experience. And I'm wondering if you could say, what do you think this is right now that we're sharing? And what have you guys have learned from that, I guess, experience?
Yeah, I guess maybe that was a little in my usual level of extremity. But I mean, I just to clarify, I mean, it really isn't a concert, because when you're a concert is the audience. The audience are part of the concert. It's a huge part of the concert.
That energy.
We're not playing and getting, and what you feel from the crowd changes everything. So, and that's why every night's a bit different. Otherwise, I mean, certainly our kind of music, we're not playing to pre-recorded tapes, and trying to recreate a record. It's completely live music, and we like to have a lot of room for mistakes as well. We like to have room to improvise, and so the audience is absolutely crucial to our experience.
To our work.
So this is certainly a performance we're very conscious of performing at the Sawdust, and of course we've got a small audience in the room, the people who are filming, the people there. um, which I guess is that helps a little bit, but you're kind of on show of it. I mean, there's something different about rehearsal, and this wasn't a rehearsal. Clearly, it's not that, but it's maybe it's performative in some way. I don't know. It's but we're having to in a way imagine reality, kind of create a different reality to the one we're actually in.
Yes,
which is something.
That's what I found helped me, because we're so used to that live interaction. We really are. Especially folk music and kind of music that you would normally hear on your front porch, at supper time in Appalachia, after supper, you hear, that's what you hear. And so, with the sounds that we're kind of making, it's like a country church, in a way. And so to not have the congregation, when you're doing congregational singing, to not have the congregation in the space. You have to imagine. So I was imagining that little camera, being my congregation, and they had, the table set up for us, as workstations and things. And I was just imagining, that this was, that people were in front of us. And I think that really helped get us through that, yes.
Thank you. And it's obviously such a massive whole, as you mentioned before, for all of us in the art world, as well as so many indigenous and marginalized communities. And there's something that the incredible Mark Bamuti Joseph, who's the artistic director at the Kennedy Center, talked about the silence that's happening right now, and that there is something that people can finally hear in that silence, right? And with Black Lives Matter and so many other social movements that people are finally hearing in a different way for the first time. And I'm curious to know what you think maybe is something that can be heard during this time, and what joy there might be in that.
Right. I do agree with that comment. Things that, the injustices, even, is for the past 7 years, with Eric Garner and Michael Brown and Ferguson and Black Lives Matter, coming out of that, during that time, at the protests, the faces who were there were Black and brown faces. There weren't many white faces at that time. And I do think that it's the gift behind this pandemic, as the learning lesson, is that all people were grounded. We've all been grounded and forced to stay at home. So we had no choice but to kind of be on screens and be on the news and watch this man, George Floyd, be murdered right before our very eyes. This is a story that has happened in the Black community since 1619. This is a story that has happened to the Native American since 1492. But this having an effect on white people happened with George Floyd. And this was the first change when I saw Black Lives Matter protests and people taking to the street, and I saw a sea of white faces in with people of all color. Every soul was there, represented in the middle of this pandemic, knowing that if you went outside and gathered, you could risk death. But for all humankind to take to the streets, not just here in the US, but all over this planet, that was the awakening that I think we, as my grandpa would say, as the two-leggeds, this is the wake-up call that we needed. And to me, that was the positive outcome from this, for everyone to understand that this is a global issue. Hate and racism is a global issue, and it's a mental illness. It's a disease. And with this pandemic and the COVID-19 disease that is killing all of us, the hatred around the world is also a disease that's killing us. And this is something that we can fix. So I feel, as I said, with this pandemic, I feel more hopeful because of that. And that may have been the lesson that the Creator had to give to us. Stay home, or if you go out, you'll die. And we said, when we see this injustice, we're going out here anyway, because this is not right. And we need to show our faces, and we need this to stop. So to me, that is, the learning lesson.
Thank you. And I think you spoke so eloquently during the concert about the healing and the joy of music that is absolutely vital in this process.
Yes. I think people love music and melody. I think it's a soothing thing. It's part of all creation. I mean, from the birds, from the earth, from the wind blowing and the trees making music. I think this is something that is intrinsic in all of us as creatures on this planet. And I think that there's healing in the joy, and there's joy in the healing. And there's also, with music, we can really get our messages of peace or whatever stories that we need across through music a lot easier than the exchange of words that people may or may not be in the mood to receive.
Absolutely. I have so many more questions, but we have so many coming in from the chat that I'm going to move to the audience, and we'll see if we have time. So we have a NYUAD faculty member who asks, I have a question about the genre bending or the mixture of genres in the songs, roots and blues, but also some jazzy moments. How do you think about this mixture?
We don't.
I think
we don't. We're old, and we have a wide vocabulary between us. I'm, African American, Native American. He's English, Jewish, Russian. We have, we're ancient. We're ancient.
But not even that. I think music's a languages and foods. Same way, you can, grow up in Abu Dhabi and no doubt learn to cook a hamburger, or make an Indian curry. I mean, it's you learn, and when you make it, you might put a bit of your own culture in there too. You might not make it exactly. You make the recipe one time exactly as is, and then you start adding. It's the same with music. You learn languages. You fall in love with different kinds of music. They, maybe at different times in your life.
Yes, and we like to call our music gumbo.
Yeah,
I think that's the best way to describe our music, and it truly is gumbo. It kind of has a little bit of everything in it.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you all have been playing together for more than 20 years, but it also seems like you're musicians. You've been playing, there's just a depth there.
Yeah, that Fred Catch, we can't get rid of him. We try, but he just keeps turning up every time,
But he's we have been together for over 20 years. And
it's like a family band.
It is. It truly is. Yeah, they're really wonderful people. We're very, very blessed.
Well, it comes out. There's also a question here from Neil Feldman. He wants to know a little bit more about the recording, the experience of performing at the Sawdust. If you could share a little bit about that.
Thank you, Neil. I have to say that National Sawdust is a really beautiful room. It's a beautifully designed room, and the sound system is excellent.
And a beautiful piano.
A gorgeous Bosendorfer grand piano, just stunning. And so when you start with good materials, you're already at an advantage. But then have a fantastic technical team on top of it, who can capture the sound and get out of the way. That's the greatest gift that any musician could ever have when you hit the stage. That a few adjustments, and then they just let you do what you do. And you don't always get that everywhere. We try, but it's a very special place. So we're really grateful that National Sawdust partnered with NYUAD, the Art Center, for this.
Yeah, for us, it just sounded so beautiful too. There was a connection, and as we mentioned before, intimacy is really difficult to try and create in this environment in this time, and it really, I felt like you were here with us.
And that's we also have to credit our dear friend and brother Nick Sevilla of Nick Sevilla Sound, who came through and helped us mix it. He just mixed it. We had a technical issue here in New York, and Nick came in and saved the day and did. I mean, he's a Grammy winning engineer who has won Grammys for engineering Steve Martin's The Crow album and among many other records that he's made. And so we were very blessed to have him come and save the day sonically on that. Thank you, Nick.
And I have a question, something you said towards the end of the concert about making it back. And I'm curious to know what that looks like for both of you, making it back from where we are right now, both in the creative space, the pandemic, and social justice. Wondering what that looks like a little bit.
When we come back from this pandemic, I think we are already in the process of making it back. We still have a long way to go, but I think that the official making it back, I don't think that it's like, okay, this is now we're here. I think that it's a process. It's something that we still have to really discipline ourselves. Sometimes, we've all been in lockdown pretty much, very limited gathering since last March. And I think there are some moments where, in certain parts of the world, where they feel like I've had enough of this and I'm going crazy and I want to have a life. And so they're making risks. And, people are traveling when they don't really need to, and all kinds of things. So I think that, the wearing, some people aren't wearing masks still. Yeah. So we have a lot to learn collectively before there's any kind of official thing. So I think it's going to be a slow kind of return to that. And
I'm hoping we don't make it back in the normal way.
Yes. We make it forward.
Yeah. I mean, in historically, I think pandemics like this have actually changed things. And, but, some of the things in America anyway, which seem fairly, you'd hope would seem fairly obvious at the end of this, is that universal basic income would be a very good idea. That universal health care is the only way to actually take care of a population.
In case something like this happens again.
And the importance of properly funded states and cities. So maybe we can actually learn that we're all in it together.
Yes.
And that there might be some different ways to handle things so it can be better than we were before. Yes. That's my hope.
Yes. And I also think that I'm hoping that we can just hold on to learning those lessons, that we are, global citizens, and it is not right it's abnormal to watch someone be murdered on a screen on your phone. It's just, it's not right that when people are arguing or disagreeing in the street, it's not right to just hold up your phone and film and laugh at it and then post it online. This is not normal behavior. We're not supposed to encourage, the spectacle. We're supposed to be humans who offer help to each other when we're supposed to, calm the storm, quell it, not kind of add fire to it, So I think it's the returning, so to speak, hopefully will be a lot better, a smarter return.
And a coming together from
yes,
music and
right, and not necessarily coming back, but a coming together. Yes, well said.
And I loved what you said about musicians as essential workers, and I hope that becomes part of the blueprint of what it means as we kind of come together, move forward, move past this.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things that I realized, through this whole process, that everyone's been listening to a lot of music, everyone's been online watching performances, playing records. Just look at what happened with in the first weeks of the pandemic, and DJ Nice came on and had these like 1 million followers in 5 days by playing everyone's records.
Well, it's always felt like, as a musician, to be honest, we've always felt like we were kind of essentially like spiritual doctors, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because
medicine people.
The only reason you listen to music and you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you go. You don't go to a concert and come out, well, I mean, unless it's tears of joy, maybe. But, it's the music literally changes your mood and improves it and cleans your soul and lifts you up. So we've always had that role, And maybe the problem is that people have to see us as workers first of all. Then if we could get there, then maybe we can get the essential part. But,
yes.
But that's another story.
Well, certainly tonight for us, you were our essential workers and really brought so much healing and love to all of us. And this is just the beginning of your residency with us. I keep kind of forgetting that part. Martha's going to be leading an incredible 2-day intensive workshop, which is later on in February. You can go to our website if you'd like to register. And she's also going to be speaking to students across our campus. And we are just so thankful and so thrilled that you and the entire company were with us tonight. So thank you so, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And now I'll throw it back to Bill to say a final goodbye and thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming to the Barzak Festival's concert by Martha Redbone's Roots Project, filmed at National Sawdust. And thanks to Martha Redbone, Aaron Whitby, and Lindsay Bostwick for that insightful conversation, as well as to everybody who participated in the chat. We look forward to seeing you again on Saturday for Boom Diwan meets Nduduzo Makatini. Find out more at nyuad-artcenter.org. Thanks for coming.